Let's take the issue of partisanship if we could. I'm sure your data shows that partisanship has been increasing over time. What's your view of that, Bill? And is there a pathway out of this highly partisan time we're in?
Tolerance for longer answers, because this has been a real, I call it partisan silos and our hardening partisan silos. First, you cannot blame Trump. Trump was the end of the process, not anywhere near the beginning of the process. Political scientists measure polarization based on how one party rates its own president compared to the other party. So Ronald Reagan was the most polarizing president in history until Bill Clinton. And then he was the most polarizing president in history until George W. Bush, and then Obama, and then finally Trump. And so through 30 years, this trend has been going on. And then in terms of power, how powerful is this trend in terms of straight ticket voting? When in the 80s and 90s and even the 2000s, we had 150 to 200 congressional districts that would vote one way for president and a different way for House representatives. Today, right now, that's 16 seats. 16 seats. That's it. Out of 435 seats, we only have 16 that voted differently for president and the member of Congress. That's extraordinary. Now, what's causing that? What's causing that, I believe, are a few things. First, redistricting, because both parties have an incentive to try to create as many safe seats as possible. So we don't have swing seats. So members worry about their primaries, not the general election. And then two, the other extraordinary change is media access, social media, and how we get information. Most people now read only from a news source that fundamentally agrees with their position. And it reinforces your point of view. I have the great good fortune of being in a very happy marriage, but she's a very progressive woman. And so I work really hard. I read Huffington Post. It's my job. I try to read across stuff, but still, when we're doing news reports for the day, and she's telling me what she's read from how she gets her information and what's been highlighted, it is every single morning and every single night, it's a different world. She's got her boy, I'm really upset today reading about X. And it's a very different world than a Republican news source. And all of that locks us into place. I respect President Biden. I respect his call for civility. But one other incredible number. You're a first lady, Melania Trump. Melania Trump had a 44 negative in the first month from Democrats. Dr. Biden, 55% negative with Republicans on her positive negative scale. She's not a controversial figure. And she has a 55 negative. If the first lady has a 55 negative to start an administration, that's all you need to know about how partisan this country has become. And so, despite the regard for President Biden's efforts and attempts, I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. And then I have one more depressing thing to say. My other depressing thing to say is I used to say it would take a 9/11 or some national emergency to really try to pull this country together. We're in the midst of a 100-year pandemic. And in that 100-year pandemic, by day 60, what I said to my client, NBC Wall Street Journal, was, oh my God, we're in day 60. And this has already become a partisan issue. Within 60 days, Democrats, believed X, Republicans believed Y, and they were totally different. And the gap between how Republican and Democrats feel about the coronavirus, its relative threat, it is, to me, extraordinary. We're all mammals. We're all human. I saw no reason when this first started why this would within 2 months, become a highly charged partisan issue. So my point being, my mantra, which is, well, a national emergency might pull this country together, at least for the first attempt at that model, the pandemic, that was a total abject failure. And incredibly quickly, it became another red and blue issue.